Hey, how's it going, YouTube? So it's a warm day here where I'm at, and I figured now would be a great time to make a video on some quick tips for keeping your vehicle cool so it's not completely unbearable in the summer. So today I'm going to give you 5 tips on what you can do to make sure this thing stays nice and cool. Alright, so I just got in the truck and it is really warm in here right now. It's probably about 95 or 98 out here, somewhere in there. So today's first tip, which was also the tip of the day over on Twitter and Instagram, is to actually just get one of these, a koozie. And this is mainly for you stick shift drivers, but it can be used for, everybody. And you just want to take this and put it over your stick shift, and that will make it, kind of like a oven mitt, or, really just a koozie for your stick shift. And, this is something that a lot of people keep around, if you're going out to ball games or, going to a cookout or whatever. A lot of people have these sitting around. So just keep one in your vehicle. I mean, it'll come in handy when you get where you're going, and it'll also help you get there by keeping that that stick shift where you can use it. So that's tip number 1. And it's a little silly to do so in my truck, but here's tip 1 in action. Easy enough. If I've left my, my column shifter in the sun for too long, I've got that there, nice and handy. I can grab it, shift into gear, and get going. So, nice, easy tip. Tip number 2, see, and there's the sun getting on me right now. But here's tip number 2. Keep something like a squirt bottle. It doesn't have to be this big. You can get one of those like littler ones that's maybe for misting eyeglasses or something like that, because a mist is kind of what you want. But you'll just take this, and for like hot steering wheels, you just mist it on a little bit, and then just have a towel with you that you can wipe it off. I don't have one with me right now, but that water evaporating like that will help cool your steering wheel so that you can use it. And you can use that on steering wheels or, your seat belt, anything like that. And, it'll cool those surfaces off so you can use them. You could even use this trick on your shifter, like I was talking about before, if you don't have a koozie. So that's another thing you can do for tip number 2. So tip number 3 is actually one that is very common, but I actually see a lot of people that don't do it, and it's very easy to do and really inexpensive. And that's just to get something like this, one of these windshield screens. These things come in handy, especially for a car with a dark interior like my truck. This thing soaks up heat like crazy, this darker plastic. And you can see all the sunlight that's hitting it right now, and this is even in the shade. So something like this that's really reflective, silver, or I've seen some in blue, and they're not always this style. Some of them are like the kind of expandable disc style that you can put up. But these things really help cool off, especially a dark interior like this truck. I've been using this for really since it kind of started warming up for this summer, and I noticed definitely a huge difference in my car's interior, especially when I'm parked out in the street in direct sunlight. So pick you up one of these. I think there's like really inexpensive ones on Amazon for like $10.99. I'll link it down in the description below. But pick you up one of these. It's a nice inexpensive way for, summer and keeping your car cool. Tip number 4 is actually one that's pretty neat that I hadn't seen before, and it's got to do with your windows. Alright, so you're getting in your hot car. You're just going to go ahead and, turn it on enough to get power. And then you're going to want to roll down one window all the way. And then you're gonna come to this door, and you're actually just gonna open and close it 4 to 5 times to push all that hot air out of that window over here. So if you're looking from that open window, it'll look something like this. And you get the idea. And what that does is it pushes all the air out that window, all the hot air that's hanging out up here in your cab. It pushes that out, and it'll help your car cool off a little quicker. Alright, and finally for tip number 5 here, this is for once you're already kind of going, you got the car turned on. You're going to want to use this button right here, if my camera will focus. That's the recirculation button. So basically, if you've never used this button before, what it does is it just recirculates air inside your car rather than pulling air from outside through the vents. And this just, lets it cool off faster in here because it's not having to cool that hot outside air. So if you've never used this button, give it a try and see if it'll, cool your car off a little faster. Some cars don't have it if they're a little newer because they have automatic control systems on them that allow them to change, vents and do all of that automatically. And that just is one less operation that the user has to do. And that just means you have a really fancy car. You're not old like this truck. And yeah, so that's tip number 5. Just use the recirculation feature if you have it. If you don't, then try some of these other tips out. All right, well, it's starting to get pretty hot out here, so I think I'm going to head back inside where it's nice and cool. But I hope you enjoyed these 5 tips. These are nice and easy things you can do to keep your car cooler this summer. Which one of these things are you going to try and do? Are you going to go pick up a window shade? They're really inexpensive. Or are you going to try and do that door method? Something, you kind of have to remember to do, but I think it works really well. Just comment below which one you're going to try out. Let me know. And just as a bonus tip, this one's pretty self-explanatory, but here's the bonus tip. Park in the shade whenever you can. These cars are like ovens, and the least amount of time you can be in direct heat, the better. So park under shade, and combine it with all these other tips. You'll have a nice, cool car that's nice and easy to drive everywhere you need to go. Anyways, guys, hope you enjoyed the video. If you like tips like this video and subscribe to the channel. I'm going to be trying to put out all kinds of new tips all the time. So I'll see you guys on the next video, and happy wrenching.